Hello everyone, welcome to Ian and the Magic Box. Today on our show, you're going to have Ian. Ian is from Dublin in Ireland. So let's see what Ian has to say. Enjoy the interview. So hello Ian, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
So tell me, how's your day going so far?
Very quiet. I was out last night. We were celebrating. It was 10 years since marriage equality here in Ireland, where we did by public vote, and
Oh,
we were celebrating it. I'm part of a choir, and we were singing as part of the celebration, and then we had a social night out afterwards, so it was very nice. So it was a late one. So
that's
yeah,
amazing. Oh,
not an early start today, which is very nice.
and where was it, the celebration? Where was it?
So it was here in Dublin, in a place called Collins Barracks. Slightly sort of to the left of the city centre, and it's just an old army barracks that the British used to have when they occupied Ireland. And it's just a really good outdoor space for putting up stages and where they have like concerts and things like that.
Oh,
So
wow.
it was a good place to have it like 10 years on.
That's amazing. Wow, what a celebration.
It was
That's
good.
incredible. Wow. And Dublin is the place where you were born and raised?
So, no, I've been living here for like the last 25 years, but I'm actually from further down south in the country called Kilkenny, a little tiny blink and you miss it village of about like 100, people, called Owning, right down in South County Kilkenny. But then I went to school in Kilkenny for like 6 years for my secondary schooling. I went to school there as a boarder, and then came to university in Dublin and basically never left.
Oh, wow. So Kokani is the place where you were born and raised.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. And your family still living there?
No, my parents, like once we all, like I have two other sisters, and once we all grew up and left home, I was the baby of the family, so I was the last one. And they sold up the house, and my dad has always been interested in boats, and my parents have always been interested in boats, and they moved to a boat and they lived on the continent for the last 18, 20 years, and they've only literally just moved back home and they now have bought a house here in Dublin.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. And tell me what you do for work, for living. Yeah.
So I'm a cancer scientist by trade. That's what I did as an academic for about 16 years, and I
Wow.
recently have just moved jobs. I've given up the academic lifestyle, and I'm now working in industry as a project manager for clinical trials.
Oh, wow. And why the change?
I wasn't really going anywhere in academia. I wanted to be a staff scientist, not really a principal investigator. They're the people who kind of lead all the projects. I wanted to do science because I wanted to do science because I wanted to actually be doing science, but I didn't want to have to do all the management of science. Which is funny now. I've gone into project management, but that's slightly different. It's in the area of what I'm interested in. So it's kind of nice. But it's also the hours are significantly better.
I
Academia
see.
hours were terrible.
But it's still in science or not? This
It
new.
is, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's specifically I do imaging in clinical trials. So like for people who've got like oncology trials or general med trials. So when they're looking for new drugs and they're testing out and they use like CT or MRI or ultrasound or things like that.
That's amazing. Well, it must be very exciting for sure.
I enjoy it. Yeah, it's fulfilling. Let's put it like that. It gets me out of the bed in the morning.
For sure. Right. So let's start the interview talking, your bear title that you had last year, Mr.
Yeah,
Bear Island 2024. So
right.
tell me when the opportunity came along, how things got together.
So it's kind of a bit of nepotism here from this side. My partner is actually was Mr. Bear Ireland 2023. And I saw like we got to go to all the places. We did an awful lot of traveling with it. And because of that, I was going like, do you know what? It would be fun to do this for another year. And I went, hey, what's the worst that can happen? Like all they can say is, no, you didn't win. And I just so happened to win. So it was another year of going around seeing all the people and making really good like what we got out of it was we made loads of really good friends, and we started to build bonds between the other organizations in Europe, specifically like in Amsterdam or in France and things like that. So like on the rest of Western Europe, it was just nice to start to get to know other people outside the Irish bear community, which is not huge.
Yes, I think I totally agree with you. I had here a few people, on the show from the bear community. They
Yeah,
holding their titles and they are so proud. And I think that's amazing because, somehow you are connect with people, we are open people's minds, we are more exposed in the bear community, which is amazing. And I
Right.
think that's more than more, people like you, people who somehow holding a title, somehow it's a part of you um, to express the community or to show the community or to embrace the community, to explain more and people to be more welcoming for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really the foundations of the bear community. It was founded out of a place of acceptance and basically to love yourself. And that it's sort of grown from that. And there's some of the largest organizations across Europe now.
Amazing. Ian, are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and share a point of view?
I am, yeah, it'd be interesting. See what.
Amazing. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So I have here my best friend. Random fun questions. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to play a song just for us to relax before the first question. Okay?
Sure. Yeah, perfect.
Amazing. Let's do it. Okay, so before we start the game, during the journey, if it comes up a question that you don't want to answer, don't want to talk about, always can
Sure.
change. Okay?
Yeah, no problem.
Amazing. Okay, first question is, what's the biggest prize you ever won?
The biggest prize I ever won. I was very lucky as a kid, always getting winning raffles. I remember things that I won a way back when I won like a Nintendo PlayStation, a Nintendo system, but I was like 8 or something like that, like really, really long time ago. That was pretty big at the time. Subsequently, not so much. Like the Mr. Bear was a big thing. That was pretty life changing. Yeah, I'll go with the Nintendo Entertainment System that I won when I was about 8. That was a pretty nice prize to get. I was very lucky as a child like that.
And when you think about your childhood memories, what's the best memory that comes to your mind?
Oh, my family. Very much my family. We were quite a close-knit family, and we'd go spend our weekends away on the boat. My dad built a boat, and I was talking to that before.
Wow.
And we'd go pretty much every weekend up to the boat. There's a major river in Ireland called the Shannon. It's the longest river here, and we used to keep the boat on the Shannon. And we go up uh, all time, all yearly, even during the winter. I remember even going up at Christmas and things like that, and spending like our summer holidays there. And so it was the days on the boat with the family was great.
Wow.
And yeah, I was lucky. I was lucky after my parents built another boat and they moved on to another boat to move to the continent. My sisters and I actually bought them out of the boat, so we owned it for a while. And now it's only just my sister that owns the boat, but we still have use of it. So it's still going strong, even though
Wow.
she's 40 years old now. So.
And right now, which person in your family you feel more close to right now?
Do I feel like well? I'm very close to my eldest sister, Trudy. That's because she was here in Dublin for most of it. My other sister is in the UK. Not saying that I'm not close to her. We speak all the time. And my parents, since they've only just come back, so it's been nice to have them back again. But I'd probably be the closest in my family to my eldest sister, Trudy.
Okay, so she's watching this interview right now. When you have a moment, an opportunity to send her a message, what would you say?
Oh, well, I appreciate everything she's done for me. She's helped me out in more ways than she knows, and I really appreciate her for everything in that.
Sweet, right, sweet. Next question. Okay, Ian, next question is, what can make you cry and what can make you really happy?
Oh God, anything can make me cry. I'm a crier. I cry at the drop of a hat. Anything that gets me emotional. Singing is a big one of late. If you're singing a sad song that makes me cry or it makes me think of things.
Wow.
Anything and I see like things on TV, anything to do with children on like being hurt or things like that on TV makes me well up and things like that. And then what makes me happy? Happy is my friends. Happy is being around, being sociable, and seeing people and making them laugh and being a good friend to them and just and yeah, enjoying my life. That's what makes me happy. And I try and live by that.
When you think about yourself, when you analyze Ian, what's the biggest joy of being you?
The biggest joy of being me, I suppose, being my true self. It took me a long time to come to being my true self. I took a rather long, circuitous route to get there. And yeah, I suppose now it's to look like looking back on it, living my best self now is definitely something that brings me great pride and joy of myself.
Are you okay to talk about it?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
So tell me, why did it take so long for you to to find yourself, to the place you are right now? Did something happen, or somehow, you're navigating through life and somehow you got to the point where you are right now?
Yeah, no, I just took I came out very, very late. I actually went the long way around, and I actually was married for about 10 years,
Wow.
and I have a son. Part of it
Wow.
and that I don't regret or anything like that. So it is something that's a circuitous route, but nothing I ever regret. And yeah, so it's that was my path. But
I
as I found myself eventually and realized who I was.
I think it's thanks for sharing, Ian. I think it's interesting. I think most of the gay guys, not just gay guys, like all of us, we have situations in our lives that sometimes takes time for us to find ourselves.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's already there, but sometimes you don't know how to explore. You don't have information, don't have support, and
Yeah.
sometimes it can be tricky. But when you get yourself to the place, you go like, you know what, this is me.
Hmm.
That's my authentic self. That's
Yeah.
when things just start going to the direction that you never experienced before. I understand your point. What's the biggest joy of being a dad?
Oh, my son, that is the biggest joy. He's everything to me. So like I wouldn't change it for the world.
Oh, sweet. Next question. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay, before the next question, tell me what's the biggest joy of being a scientist? What do you like the most about it? And the opposite. What do you find challenging?
So the biggest joy is realizing that what I'm doing is actually helping, is making a difference. It's nice to see that something that you've worked on for a while has comes to fruition, and even if it just helps somebody, one or two people out, you've made a difference in the world, and that you're adding to gained knowledge, and hopefully that knowledge also then may spur somebody else on to do something bigger and greater with it. Specifically, because I was working in cancer for such a long time. It's nice to feel that every bit that you do is actually helping somebody out in the long run. In the end of the day, you're going to help push survival of people. And that was the biggest, as I said, that was a massive motivator and driving force behind why I wanted to do cancer science. The opposite side of it, it's tedious. Sometimes you feel like you're running around in circles and going nowhere. The hours sucked so badly. Like you were working weekends, nights. I remember being in a Christmas day at 2 a.m. in the morning and things like that, just running
Wow.
experiments, and it's draining. And sometimes like so the opposite, sometimes you feel like you're not making a slightest bit of difference, and all you're doing is just being a drain on society because of it. But you have to take the wins when you get them. So like you publish a paper, then you find out something that no one else has found out, and you can stand over that and say, "Hey, this is something I did. This is me. I am proud of it, and I've published it, and no one else has done this." So you're answering a problem that nobody else has ever solved, and you're going like, "Yeah, that's me."
And people watch this interview. Maybe would you like to start a career in science? What would be your best piece of advice for those people?
Perseverance. It's not easy. Like it takes a while to get into it. Like it is something that you have to go it requires an awful lot of education. You need to like if you want to be an academic scientist, you need to go and do a PhD. You need to go and spend like 4 or 5 years extra in college and learn to live with very, very little money and a lot of struggles along the way. And then you can come out the other side and you go into industry and do fantastic things in that and like help pharma companies make new drugs to help make people. So it's all about perseverance to get where you want to in science. But it's also you should do it because you love science. It's not something you should just wake up and say, do you know what, I fancy doing scientist. It's not like sort of saying I'm going to work in a shop or I'm going to do something like that. It's something you have to have.
Commit.
Yeah, it's something that means something to you, and you have to have like commitment to it. It's a good idea. It's a commitment.
Absolutely. Okay. Next question is, where do you see yourself living when you retire?
Hmm. I don't know. I moved to this. I lived in the States for about 5 years, not too long
Wow.
ago, and I'd like to move back there at some stage. Not the moment, but at some stage I'd like to move back there again. I lived in New York, and I loved it, and so I could imagine when I'm much older and things like that, retiring to the States or somewhere like that, or somewhere to the continent. But I do love Ireland. Don't get me wrong. Like Ireland's been my home, and I love it to pieces, and I wouldn't change it for everyone in the world. But just as a change of pace, it might be nice to like to retire to somewhere like the States, somewhere or like Canada. Canada, I could really do with Canada.
Wow. What was the highlight of your time in New York City?
Oh, just being living in New York, like having access to being in New York. and meeting so many new people and having just an absolute ball. I lived right on the edge of the city in Queens,
Oh,
and I had a car. It was the first car I got. I learned to drive in the States, and then I explored like all the East Coast, and oh, we went up to Canada, and
wow.
so yeah, it was just the freedom. Like that was the joy. It was the freedom and the things I got to do. There it was just wonderful. And then my visa ran out, and we needed to come home.
Oh, how about the Irish community in New York City? It was big. Did you kind of explore it a little bit or not?
So I get the start because I knew nobody at that particular time. We did sort of reach out to the expat community there in New York, and they were fine. They're fine. Like they're a nice group of people, and like everyone says they're Irish in New York. You can't turn a corner or throw a stone without hitting somebody who say they're Irish. But it was nice. It was kind of also nice to be not amongst them as well. It was nice to be amongst the other nationalities and people there. And that was the thing about New York. It's such a melting pot. It doesn't have,
Absolutely.
you don't have to sit among your own people. So you can mix and match, which was great.
Totally. Amazing. Next question. Let's do it. Okay, next question is, this is a good question actually for you as a scientist. Do you consider yourself to be a spiritual person and how?
Spiritual. Like I'm not religious. I'm not at all religious. I was raised religious, but I'm not at all religious. But I'd like to think there is something overarching. So like on the science front, yes. So spiritualism, maybe not, but something that some fundamental force or something like that that does have some sort of control, maybe. And that's the level of spirituality I'll sit on. Like, it's very, very sort of vague and ephemeral and something like that. Nothing, no religion behind it or anything like that.
Have you seen the movie I Origins?
Origins.
I Origins. Have you seen this movie? It's
No,
an
not at all.
amazing movie. So it's a romance between a scientist and the girl from Argentina. She's very spiritual.
Okay.
So imagine the contrast between both of them. It was
Yeah.
an amazing, one of the best movies I ever watched. It's been for a while now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send the link of the movie for you to have a look.
Thank
It's
you.
such
Yeah.
a
That'd be great. Love to get
beautiful.
recommendations.
I'll tell you something, Ian. It's a beautiful movie. I went to see it without seeing the trailer, and when I got there, I was blowing up. I left the cinema thinking, "Oh my God, what a beautiful movie!" And it touched, both sides about
Hmm.
science and this and that, and spirituality. It's such an amazing movie. I was very touched by, and I'm sure you're gonna cry. I'm sure if you cry easily, trust me, you're gonna cry not just once. You're gonna cry like through the movie because it's very emotional. Like in the
Okay.
end, the end of the movie just gets you in a way that is impossible for you not to get emotional. It's a
Oh,
beautiful movie.
that sounds like my type of movie.
Yeah, and I got goosebumps now talking about it because it's such a great movie for sure.
Okay.
Saying that, what's the meaning of life for you?
The meaning of life. Family, friends, just living it as it is. Take each day as it comes. Try and do your best. And that's really it. That's the meaning of life. There is no more to life. It is try and find your happiness and live your life as you best as you can.
So far, what has been the most meaningful lesson you've learned from your son?
Oh, being honest to yourself. That's the biggest one. Not hiding who you are. And because yeah, you won't find your happiness if you lie to yourself. And that's yeah, that's a big lesson that I learned the hard way.
Wow. Do you feel like you're living your best life right now, Ian?
Yes, yeah. At the moment, I do. Like I'm living with my partner, so it's great. I'm back here in Dublin. My family's all around me, and I have a really good support network of friends and things like that. So yeah, at the moment, this is the best version of Ian.
Wow, beautiful. Next question, ready?
Yep.
Let's do it. Next one. Okay, before the next question, let's go back to your title, Mr. Bear Island 2024. Question for you is, when you sign up for the competition, of course, you already had this, somehow the support of your partner, yeah,
Mhm.
about it. Did you think you could win when you sign up for it? And the second part of the question is, what was something about the competition that you've learned through the process until the end?
So, like when I saw who else was signing up, and I knew who my competition was, and I was sitting there going like, oh, there was one particular fellow who I really thought had it just in the bag, and I was going like, oh well, and to be honest, if I'd lost to him, I would have been incredibly proud to have lost to him, but to then I was surprised myself that I won. And the thing that I learned from it, yeah, it's just to go for it, like to literally just put yourself out there and be silly. Like really, it's what it was. Is it was the silliness that got it for me. And as I said, I made people laugh, and people seemed to like that. So I learned things about myself on that. So it was nice.
So so tell me the feeling when they said the winner is Ian. Tell me the emotions when you
Oh,
kind of got your name.
oh, it was like a whole pile, a whole bag of emotions. It was like shock, awe, surprise, and suddenly a massive, overwhelming, overwhelming feeling of like people going like, "Hey, you're actually not bad. We like you. You're pretty good." So yeah, just something that it was not something I'd ever experienced before. And it was yeah, I was dumbstruck. Like that was so it was amazing feeling. Probably one of the best things ever.
Wow. Okay, next question is, which question would you like to be asked?
What question would I like to be asked? Oh, that's a tricky one. Yeah, I suppose like you've been asking ones that are actually quite nice and that have actually given some personal answers that I wasn't quite expecting. So far what we've been asking have been really good questions and made me think about things like specifically the one thinking back in my childhood. It's not something I've thought about for a very, very long time. So talking about my childhood is quite nice. Yeah, that was good.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask a question related to that. When you describe about your childhood memories about building the boat, it was like, my God, it was such an amazing, I think it's amazing for kids to have this opportunity to be around their families and to
Mhm.
be, in this environment. My God, in a boat, in the water, I think it's amazing. But for you, the opposite side, what was the most challenging part for you growing up as a kid, in Ireland?
Okay. Well, so my sisters are actually quite a bit older than me. They're like 8 and 10 years older than me. So uh, we all went to boarding school, and consequently, by the time that I was sort of aware of things, they were already gone to boarding school, so they weren't home very much. So I was effectively an only child, like during the weeks and things like that. And I was I was an easy target as a child as well. I was a little bit soft. And so I didn't always have the easiest time, like in school and things like that. And then when I went to boarding school, I hated it. I hated boarding school for the first 2, 3 years. And then
Uh-huh.
I found my tribe, as my mum would have said. I found my people, and I made friends, and some of them who are now my best friends.
Wow.
And so that they're nice memories now. There was definitely some really unpleasant times back then, but I said the family bit was what kept me going through, well, the bad times.
Amazing. Three questions left. Let's
Oh,
do it.
yeah, please.
Okay, next question is, what's your morning ritual?
Oh, but I keep on snoozing the alarm until I have to actually get out of bed, roll down the stairs, have a quick bowl of cereal, and then turn on my computer to get started work because I work from home.
Right.
And on the weekends, it's I w wake up and we go and like have a proper breakfast meal, sit down at the table and things like that. So and have sort of a meal together. But otherwise, that's it. I'm a very easy person. During the day, I'll go and have a shower, like my lunch or something like that, or I've gone to the gym or things like that. But in the morning, it's stay in bed as long as I physically can.
Tell me something else. I could see your eyes shining talking about your partner. Tell me, how did your path cross, if you can share?
Oh, I actually have two partners. I'm spoilt for that.
Uh,
They're called Martin and Connor. And I met Connor first, as most people do now, is actually online
yeah.
during right at the start of COVID here, before,
Oh,
just as Ireland was coming into lockdowns. And he was my COVID buddy. So I went out, we were able to go to pubs, sitting outside, and we kind of went on things. And then I was devastated to hear that he had a boyfriend. Uh,
oops.
they had a long distance relationship. Martin was living down at the other end of the country, down a city called Cork, but
Yeah.
he would come up here once every 2 weeks, and then Connor sort of said, "Hey, like we've been getting on really well, but I think you should meet my boyfriend. I think it's only right." And I went, "Okay, not really sure why, but okay, well, right, it's fine, we'll meet." And then myself and Marty, we got on like a house on fire. And I saw him some more, and then he sort of suggested, say, "Hey, why don't we just try the three of us, see how it
Yeah.
goes?" And that was like 4 years ago now. So
Oh, amazing. And
yeah.
for you, what do you find most fascinating about having a triple relationship?
Oh, communication. So people always ask, what's the success for a throuple or something like that? It's all about just talking to each other, and seeing that, make sure that everyone's on the same page. And it is harder definitely than just a two-person relationship because you
Yeah.
suddenly got another person's opinions and feelings to consider. But it also is it's just as good. Like we all see eye to eye on so many things, and so we've been living together now for 4 years.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
and yeah, so we're all very, very happy. And yeah, long may it continue.
Amazing. Two questions left. Let's do it. Before the next question, let's talk about the bear community. Yeah. On my opinion, I think the bear community for, let's say, for the last 10 years, it just became very popular. I think, before that, I remember, I don't know if you know, but in London, there was a club called XXL
Hmm.
in the past, and it was huge. I remember like going there, and, it was very welcoming, just not for the bear community, but also for the other crowds as well. And I
Yeah.
remember going there, and it felt so free to see, everyone expressing themselves. The bear community, they were there with their arms, like, open. My question for you is, in your eyes right now, when you also being the title, I'm sure you travel to different places, you got to see different communities, different countries.
Hmm.
Do you feel like the bear community nowadays, it's real, it's became very popular, people they want to be part of it, people they want to, somehow integrate with it, or do you think it's still very exclusive? Yeah, like, okay, this is our community. And because I had a lovely man, he explained that it took so long for them to get this popularity, and suddenly other crowds somehow came along, if you know what I mean. How do you see
Yeah.
with your, based on your
So
experience?
so it was a society it was like an organization or a grouping that was set on acceptance and to be the others that were not like it was born out of the AIDS crisis, for people who didn't fit the mold of being this svelte, thin, athletic, beautiful looking, yeah, athletic person of the, I hate the word, but the twink lifestyle. And because that was like the epitome of healthiness during the age crisis, and everyone else didn't really fit that mold. So the bear community sort of was born out of that, to sort of body positivity and loving yourself and like accepting of everything else. So yes, at the start, it grew from a place of kindness and acceptance. And then you're right. It kind of at certain point at certain places it has got a little bit twisted that it's become a little bit exclusive. They've suddenly become exclusive. People who go and say, "Well, you don't fit the stereotype of a bear. You're not chunky. You're not hairy. You're not whatever. You just don't fit the mold." And that's not what the bear community stands for at all. So there are unfortunately certain elements within the community that have that. It is definitely a minority. It is a very small minority, and I think that the bear community has come to be much more of an acceptant place, and yeah. So it is continuing to grow, and it has become incredibly popular. Um,
Totally.
and but it has had its problems, and there's still a little bit of ways to go that we need to sort of maybe take a little bit of a stock of ourselves and saying like, are we being as accepting as we could be, or are we still being a little judgmental?
I see. Good point. Okay. Next question is, what do you like the most about your best friends?
Oh, my best friends. That's a funny story. My best friend is somebody I went to school with, a girl called Zoe Hughes. And she is my best friend because she also was the very first girl I ever kissed.
Oh,
And
sweet.
and then I was also honored to be her best man on the marriage to her wife.
Wow.
Yeah, we hit each other very well. And so like she helped me through a whole pile of things as well. So my friends, I said, my friends are everything. My friends are my support network. When I have a bad time, I lean on them, and I know that they'll be there for me, which is nice. That's what I want in my friends.
Oh, very sweet story. Love it. And she was your first kiss. Actually, my first love was a girl. My
Yeah.
first ever. I was 12 years old, and she is a lesbian as well. Like nowadays.
I just say it happens. It's just one of these things.
Yeah. And I remember,
We
like,
find
it's
each
funny
other.
because yeah, it's funny because when you are a child, you don't have those eyes that we have right now. It
No.
just, I remember looking at her. She had this beautiful hair, and she was sitting in front of me in the classroom, and I just loved touching her hair every day. And I remember, like, looking at her, I just had this fascination about her. She was so, her beauty, the way she was very tough. And it's funny
Mm.
because when I look back now, I remember she loved playing football, the soccer with the boys. And you know, you don't have these things in your, you don't just because she was playing football, you know, she could be a lesbian. So I never had this thought before. I just
Yeah.
looking back now, I was like, oh my God, this makes sense. Some things like in the past. And I remember it's a funny story. It's a drastically and funny story at the same time. So what happened was I have other friend of ours. I'm still very good friend with her as well. So you know, we have this case. We put your pencil, everything like this little case, yeah.
Yeah.
And once by you know, I just felt like right. I wrote my name William, and I wrote her name, and I made a heart, and I put in like in this case where I had my pens was
Yeah.
there. And this evil friend that I still love her, is still very close. And she said to me, William, can you borrow me like a pen? I said, yeah, just take my case. When she opened my case, she saw there. Do you know
Oh
what
no.
she did? She literally stand up in the middle of the classroom and she said, oh my God, William's in love with her. That said her name. I was blushing. She was blushing as well because she wasn't expecting that. She didn't know.
Yeah.
And my heart was tum, tum, tum. Guess what? We didn't talk for 2 years. We literally, yeah, it broke our hearts because this thing we had between us was just a genuine thing we had, but
Yeah.
we never had any kind of romance or anything. It was just a connection that we had there. And when I look back, it was love because I felt in love with her.
Oh.
And we didn't talk for because she was scared of me. I felt uncomfortable as well. So literally for 2 years, we didn't look at each other's face because we were embarrassed. I embarrassed her. You know, all the situation. Can you imagine how it broke our hearts? And anyway, after that, we became adult. We reconnect again and became friends. And I think that, and the evil friend, I still very close to her as well.
Well, that's okay then.
In the end, everything ended up well.
That's a nice story that ends well, which is nice as long as you all come back and find
Totally. And I don't blame my evil friend because she was a teenager. She wasn't the time to make those jokes as well.
Yeah.
So it was my mistake. I wrote there. I shouldn't have written there.
Very nice.
Last question, ready?
Yeah.
Let's get last one. Okay, but before the last question, through your career as a scientist, tell me a moment or a situation that you're never gonna forget, that somehow, you know, is gonna always be in your heart or in your mind or in your career, something that for you, you know, you hold very close to your heart.
So there was well, it was actually when I was living in the States, and I was working on a disease at that time called glioblastoma, which is a form of brain cancer, a pretty awful form of brain cancer. The survival is about 14 months. It's pretty awful. It hasn't really changed in the last 20 years.
Wow.
And I got to speak at a conference that I was publishing a paper, and I was doing a whole lot of stuff in the immunity of this particular form of brain cancer. And I got to speak at the conference, at a very like prestigious conference, and give my results about this new drug and this new technique that I developed and things like that. And that was probably one of the proudest moments of my career, of being able to stand there in an American. It was an American conference, so it's huge, and being able to speak to really quite respected scientists and them to actually listen to you and take you seriously. So that was a huge. That's probably my shining achievement of my scientific career.
Wow, beautiful. Next question is, who has been the most influential person in your life and why?
Probably my mother. Yeah, she's taught me everything I know. Both my parents have, but my mother taught me how to cook and to bake and to have a joy of it and things like that. She was very good at making sure that when we were young that we would go and learn how to do everything that we could. Specifically living in the countryside, we were countryside kids. So I learned how to ride a horse. She taught us how to bake, how to cook, how to clean, how to sew, and things like that. Just so we could look after ourselves. So if there was ever we had to go to a friend's house, and they sort of said, "Oh, let's go ride a horse," and you went, "Okay, I can actually do that."
Wow.
And also the baking thing, which has lasted. Like I have such a passion for baking. I love it. It's when I'm feeling down, I'll go and bake something. I'll make a cake because cake makes everyone feel better. And that's so yeah. My mother has given me so much. She gave me life, and then she's given me so much more.
My God, I've got goosebumps now saying that. Yeah, such a great connection. And actually, I made a note here, enthusiastic baker, because it was written at your profile. I'm going to ask a tough question for you now. You don't need to answer if you don't want to, yeah? Sure. As you can see, your connection with your mom, your parents, your family, you know, there's this beautiful connection there.
Hmm.
My question is, do you think deep inside your mom knew it about your sexuality or not?
Oh, yes. No, yes and no. Like I think there was probably when I was younger, she probably thought a bit more, but then I went and got married, and that probably put things out of her mind. And then when I came out later on, she wasn't terribly surprised. Like she was sad, and it was a big thing.
Yeah,
Because it was quite a it was like a tumultuous period of time.
for
Um,
sure.
and but I don't think she was terribly surprised in the long run. And but which was nice. It was nice that because she kind of had it was there sitting in the back of her mind. And then now like it's all over and it's been done and like it's been years since it's happened. And yeah, like she's still my mum. She hasn't
Oh,
changed.
sweet. Send hello from me, okay? My
I
regards.
will do, yeah.
Right, it's not the end yet. Let's play now the word association game. I'm going to
Yeah.
give away some words. Just tell one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking. Let's
Yep.
start. Money,
A career.
fear,
Dark.
family,
Love.
life,
Happiness.
love,
Partners.
religion,
Oh, my mind is just going completely blank. God.
okay? Sex,
Fun.
politics,
Boring.
friendship,
Important.
desire,
Lust.
regret,
My mind just went. Uh, Unhappiness.
okay? Success,
Opportunity.
wish,
Hope.
happiness.
Oh, life. Yeah.
One word for Dublin.
One word for amazing.
One
Awe
word for.
inspiring.
Sorry?
Awe inspiring. That would
Okay.
have.
Ireland, one word.
Home.
One word for scientist.
Driven.
And the last one now, the bear community, one word.
Accepting.
Amazing. Let's pretend now I'm going to have a coffee with both of your partners, yeah?
Mhm.
And I'm going to ask both of them. You need to agree on in one word. One positive and one negative to define Ian. What do you think they would say about you?
Okay, positive. Funny. Caring.
Okay?
Negative. Argumentative. Yeah, that's an easy one, yeah.
If I would ask the same question to your lovely mom, will be the same answer?
To my mum.
Yeah.
Um, she would say, yeah, kind, caring, and she would say, yeah, probably argumentative, stubborn, stubborn.
What's your star sign astrology, Ian?
Libra, yeah, Libra,
Libra.
October.
October.
Mhm.
Oh. Let's play now, Ian, in the magic box, and you can ask me a question. Okay, you can ask me a question now, Ian.
Okay, so if you woke up tomorrow with the power to change just one thing in the entire world, just one thing, um, what would it be, and what effect do you think it would have for the greater society? Would it be a good thing or a bad thing, or is it just something that's a bit self-serving?
Wow, what a question. Wow, my God, beautiful. Right. I think the answer comes straight away to my mind. If I'll change something, would like literally, it would be something simple, but I think it would change a lot. It would explain a lot what's going on right now, what's happening in the world right now. I would change about people's minds, to open people's minds. I think that's the very basic thing because including myself, include you, we have our barriers in our
Yeah,
minds, things that we don't understand, things difficult for us to accept or to understand. However, if you respect, if you go like, you know what, I don't understand that, but it looks strange for me, but they're happy or they are doing good to people. So I just accept it. That's fine. It's not doing harm to me.
yeah,
It's a thing. So I think if I'll change something, the world will be just that. People to open their minds. It doesn't matter how, which topic, but it just be acceptance. Maybe it could be anything about sexuality, about politics, about religion, about anything that people they don't understand. And that's closed mind.
yeah,
That's what occurs other things in the world because of that, because it's just a basic thing. If we are more open-minded, acceptance, understanding, respect, all of that in one way of thinking, trust me, Ian. I think it will change a lot of things, and people will be more understanding as well. And the new generation now, I think they would come to this world in a different mindset, that
Yeah.
it would be so different, and also people understand more about people. I think we'd be more understanding about a lot of things. So yes, I know it's very simple. I know it's very simple answer, but it's just the way I think. I think it
Yeah.
will take a lot.
Sometimes the simplest things are the best, and they're like that's an awesome answer, but not something I would have thought myself. But it makes so much sense. It like if you could change that, everyone had an open mind. My God, could you imagine how life would be? It'd be amazing.
Totally, because as I said, I have my thing that I don't understand as well, and it's okay. I like that. I think it's healthy for you to have those barriers that make you think,
Yeah.
understand, challenge yourself somehow. But if you respect, that's it. That's it. If you accept it,
Hmm.
it's a different approach. It's a different way of changing things for sure. So yeah, that's my answer for you.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, no, very cool.
Did you enjoy the interview, Ian?
I did, yeah. It was surprising. It was really good. Thank you very much.
Thanks again for being so kind and so sweet and accepting the invitation. Thanks for being your knowledge as well. I love having passionate people on the show, when they have talk about different topics. And also I like as well this connection with your family. It's something that, it's a highlight for me of the interview, because it's beautiful to see this connection. And we go through turbulences through what I mean, through life, which is
Yeah,
normal. We have that. However, when you have this ground about our family, it makes a difference for sure.
that's it exactly. Yeah, that's a
Before
really good way to describe family. It's my ground.
Absolutely. Before you go, if you can share a positive message or anything that you live by.
So I have this one that I've always I think it's a really good one, and it's the perfect one as being a scientist, because it was something that motivates you as a scientist. But I think it's just a really good piece of advice, and all, and it's attributed to an Irish playwright called Samuel Beckett. He did an awful lot of kind of these slightly esoteric things, but he was a great wordsmith, and his phrase was, "Ever tried, ever failed, no matter, try again, fail again, but fail better."
Wow, I like that. That's amazing. Just keep going.
Yeah. That's
Amazing.
basically a motto everyone should live their lives by. Like basically just keep trying, and like so what, you fail, but next time just fail again, but better.
Totally, totally.
Perfect. Thanks
Okay.
very much, William. I really appreciate it.
Re-
This has been a lot of
re-
fun.
Regards to your family, regards to your partners as well, and you keep in
Will do.
touch. It was a pleasure having you on the show, okay? Take
Thank
care.
you. Bye
Bye bye.
bye.
Take care. So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, to share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why you'd like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye bye, see you next time.